Hello. My name is Connor, and we are looking at name placements today for laser cutting. We're starting a business for laser cutting called Stonebuck right now, and we are trying to figure out the best method there is to make the name placements to put on plates, which are usually cut out of wood or acrylic. There's a lot of ways to do this. My goal on this is to be able to just write the name in and not worry about messing with too many things and get it to the cutter as fast as I can. So what's the issue? We like this font called Crystal Sky, and while a lot of the font letters actually connect, like this L to the Y, you can see there's a lot of detached things. Even this E, in fact, where the line here doesn't connect to the top of the E, which is pretty, but not good for laser cutting. So we're just going to go through a method to maybe fix this and kind of compare what I'm seeing online with other people doing this kind of situation. So one method, which won't work for every problem, but one method is you could actually just go into the font thing when you have the actual name and adjust these things to pretty much bring things closer together. And this might, like if the E wasn't touching the M already, you can kind of bring things in until they touch. Like the I is now touching the M, and you can actually modify this in ways like, you know, the L and the Y are touching to each other too much now. So I would want to like highlight those and select them further away. Okay, well now the I is away from the L, so now we had to select just the I, and then we'd have to reduce that. And you can see how that might take a little time, but it might be manageable. But it also kind of influences, like, that doesn't look as good anymore. So I was thinking, how do you fix that? And then you also have the issue of the dot for the I and the E. So an online solution I found, which makes sense, and I was considered this as well, but you turn these into outlines, these shapes, and you more or less go into these lines and adjust the points. So it'd be easy to just select these points and pull them up. They're connected now. And then, you know, if this wasn't already like closer together, you could connect the I and the M. Most of the time, and I'll show an example here, for these name cut things, this is a good example of how people do it. They take the I out, or take the I dot out. They just omit it. And I think that's probably a good situation for this. Like, I think we understand that that's Emily, except that the I in this is still doesn't look that good. So what you'd have to do in this situation, in my head, which would take time, and imagine you're doing 300 names of these guys, is you'd have to pull this out. You'd have to, you know, make it look good again, right? And you'd have to maybe continue this line out from M over pretty much all the way to like connect all three of these. Now, you'd have to do that for every name, and that would be quickly annoying to me. So the third method, so the first method, I'll just go through it again. The first method is changing the spacing on the font options and making everything connect that way, which is detrimental to the design of the font. The next thing is to manually go into it, which you can make look good, but it'll take a lot of time. And my third option here is to open something called FontForge, which we'll just open that right now. And you can see here we have Emily the way it's normally done, and you can see the E is still the way that we fixed on the other one. But in FontForge, you get to select the actual glyphs, and you can modify the glyphs and then save it. So I think this is the method that we're going to try to push forward with probably manually fixing some small things. In this situation, if we're going to commit to never use the dot on the I ever for laser cutting, I can simply open up the I, select these, delete them. And now you can see here in real time with Emily, the I is gone. I think it's probably the best method, unless we make a very thin line, which then becomes like a breaking point for the laser cutter product to, you know, not work. But at the same time, if we want to change the E, which we already have that open, so we'll just open that back up. So if I wanted to change the E, like we fixed in the other one, let's say like, okay, we'll take these dots and we'll extend it up again. Now the E is connected, right? Now I save this out, and the E is always connected. It's a manual job I had to do, but I don't have to do it again for this font. I just have to save out the new font file, the OTF, And at that point, it's fixed, and I can just type in the name I need to type in, and we're donezo. The only thing I might need to change is the thickness of the line to make it look better on the laser cut. So just to go a little bit further here, okay, I want to change the M. And what's nice about this program is you can see that these guides here are actually the end of where these things begin. So, you know, the spacing we were changing individually on the font settings, we can actually like change this in the font itself. And you can see while I'm moving this on the left, look at the right, top right, it actually changes the sizing of where that M is connecting to the next thing. Now I could easily leave it where it was. So leave it where it was, and I could pull this line over and probably make it look better, you know. But let's just do a quick job here. It connects. You could take some more time and make this look better. There's a little dip here that needs to be fixed out, but you know, go in here and change it, and this connects to the eye. Now, what are the problems with that? There's a few problems. So now that I've adjusted the M to the I, if I put a different name in that has like Mark, or I guess we'll do lowercase Mark, because then we can see maybe if it changed anything. So now we have this always here. It's not just going to apply to that one name. It's going to butterfly effect to every interaction with every other font. And you can see here with Mark, everything's connecting except the A. And the A has this problem too, specifically on this font, that it usually is separate. So if we want to connect the M to the A, we can keep modifying the M, but we're going to run into an issue where it's just going to keep running into problems with another thing. So my thoughts are, okay, let's just move forward and just straight ahead this. Every time we run into a problem, we'll come in here in the program, we'll adjust it a little bit. And if we run into another problem, we'll go in and adjust it. And I think the best thing you could do is really take your list of names and just put them all in this program, kind of scan them all, see if you can fix everything. If you can't fix everything, maybe just fix the majority of it so you can type it all in, and you know in your head, well, I have to go in there and manually connect an A over to wherever it is. And you just have to know that if the name has an A, you're probably going to have to go in and do something. A lot of these names, when you do a capital anything, like if I go to capital Mark again, a lot of the caps in this kind of thing, they don't usually connect. So figuring out a way to make them quickly connect might be as easily as like, okay, let's open up P, let's put that over, and you know, there you go. But then how does that gonna look if you put in M in front of it? How you know, it's all these, that's not bad, you know. You'd have to go in and just check every single one. K has a lot of weird tangents here, which I don't really particularly like with a P. The S is okay. The X connects perfectly, actually. So it's like, I think it would be a give and take of figuring that out. We literally would just go in here, hey, this has a problem, let's open up this program and change it. And this would apply to any font that you use. Okay, so let's say that you've done all that and somehow the font turns out, you know, to connect with just typing it. So what you'd have to do at the end is literally just turn this into an outline and then combine the shapes, and then you're good to go. Once you combine the shapes, and it's gonna cut them all together instead of like trying to outline overlap them, you're good to go. Well, thank you for watching. I hope this was helpful to someone. This is a good helpful thing for me to look back on at the very least. And I will update as we move forward on this every once in a while when I find better methods, just to document what I'm doing and for maybe others to help them out if they're trying to figure out the technical software way to make all these things work for a laser cutter. I'm still a beginner. If there's other methods that you have suggestions or ways I can improve this method, please let me know in the comments. I would love to hear you all. And thank you for watching, and have a nice day. Bye-bye.